So, Pro Day has come and gone for most of college football so far. Specifically, Ohio State and Alabama. Ohio State had dozens and dozens and dozens, maybe even 100 NFL scouts and GMs there looking at players as Ohio State looking to make history in the NFL draft, having 4 players drafted in the top 10. That is not something that even Nick Saban's Alabama ever did. He only had 3 in the top 10 and then 1 in the top 15. I think it was Tua. So Ryan Day looking to do something that has never ever been done before. And you look at what happened that day, because Alabama also held their pro day the same day that Ohio State held its pro day. Ohio State had dozens and dozens and dozens of scouts. Alabama had 1. He was from the Chicago Bears, so it's not even you would think it's like, sorry, you would think it would be like the Eagles or someone that loves to draft Alabama players. It's the Chicago Bears. And I'm trying to think where the Chicago Bears are getting drafted. The only player that I know right now in Alabama that's really getting drafted is Ty Simpson, and the Bears don't need a quarterback. So I don't really know why the Bears would need to do that, but I think it was definitely shocking to see a program like Alabama under Nick Saban that they would call it the 33rd NFL team. Now, 2 or 3 years later, only have 1 NFL scout. They only have 1 there. And I think it was definitely a wake-up call to Alabama fans and more of the SEC, as ever since Alabama has taken a step back, the SEC has taken a step back. And you could say you could say that the other SEC teams, aside from Georgia recently, have just kind of been, they have one good team every 10, 15 years, and they masquerade behind Alabama and Georgia, which I would definitely agree with. I would 100% agree with that. But I made my mock draft. You should go watch it. It's on the channel around over a week ago. And when I did it, I was shocked to figure out that it was there's not 1 Alabama player in the first round. Maybe I'm misremembering, but I don't remember there ever being an Alabama player even in the first round. And that's something that, they had 12 players drafted last year. I get that, but usually Alabama has the most players drafted every year, and we have not really seen that. And it's kind of been a tell. It's we knew Bama would be taking somewhat of a step back after Saban, but they have really kind of gone out and in a couple of years devolved to what Bama was before Saban. Bama was really bad before Saban. Obviously, I think right now they're better, but you look in the early 2000s, that's kind of what Bama is now. Maybe Bama's a little bit better. The recruiting is still very, very good. And that's the other thing, is if you're an Alabama fan, how the hell do you have the 6th best recruiting class? You have a top 5, top 3 recruiting class every year still. 4 or 5, you have 4 5-stars this year, 3 or 4 last year. I think you had 5 maybe. And you're still this bad. You're not bad, but you got blown out by 35 in the Rose Bowl against Indiana. It's Indiana. It's kind of it's what happened? What happened to the program? And is Kalen DeBoer the right guy? And you guys can let me know down in the comments, how do you guys feel about Kalen DeBoer? And I'm sorry, Joe Bob. One thing, this is actually the second time I've recorded this video. My power went out the first time and it corrupted the video, so I have to record this again. But Bama Joe Bob, I'm sorry that every time I talk about your team, it's usually not something good. I'm not putting out my personal opinion, just constantly bashing on Alabama. I'm just reporting on what Alabama has been doing, and it's not it's not really the best, I will say. An interesting thing that we saw at spring practice the other day, and I made actually a whole video about the James Smith interview. You can go watch it on the channel. It'll probably be pinned down in the description and up here at one point in the video. Is he transferred from Alabama? Same with Cam Calhoun and Q Rossall. The year before, or 2 years before, it was Julian Sayin and Caleb Downs and Seth McLaughlin. So we've just been rating Alabama players. And the things that he said was that he didn't actually say that Ohio State was bigger. Did not say they have bigger bodies than Alabama in the SEC, but he said that they are faster. Actually, he called Alabama bodies slow. He said that everything was a lot slower. He said everything is faster, more intense, stronger and better than Alabama. The interesting thing is he said everything is more intentional. What does more intentional mean? It means coaching. Everything means something in the Big Ten with coaching. The coaching has gotten better. And honestly, Josh Pate just came on a show the other day, and it's a garbage show, just brain rot, like just slop. But he said with the SEC, even throughout when he was a kid, like overall, maybe not like a kid, but like when he was younger, and just kind of watching and see for a couple decades, is that you hear about how coaches are hired and the way that they're hired. And he described it as you have agents paying, agents have their clients, and their clients, whoever gives them the most money, they get advertised the most. They'll recommend 4 or 5 names each job, and then each employer, each team will go over the Wikipedia and kind of give a brief search view of their tenure in at least college football, the NFL, whatever. And I was listening to that, I'm like, isn't that how we hire coaches in college football 26? Like isn't that how we do it? We like research the coaches and where their other head, like it's like, oh, I want this coach because Alabama or Michigan's really, really interested in him. It's like the SEC is running their coaching carousel like how I do in my Dynasty, which I think is hilarious. And the most funny thing about it is that Bama was not like that. The rest of the SEC, I think, was like that. And Bama was like the only ones that weren't like that because of Saban. You look at the coaching tree, you had Kiffin, head coach at LSU, Kirby Smart, head coach at Georgia, Steve Sarkisian, head coach at Texas. You had Dan Lanning was Georgia, but I think Dan Lanning was at Alabama. Was he not? Was Dan Lanning ever at Alabama for a little bit? I maybe it was just Georgia. But the coaching tree, Cignetti was Bama. Will Muschamp was Bama. And Nick Saban. So we see all of these coaches and how good the coaching was at Bama. You ever see like the Hard Knocks for college football where you see the clips of Nick Saban where he's yelling the guys to run the flat and it's cut? Like you all know the clip I'm talking about. And in 2 or 3 years, that has kind of vanished. And I don't understand how one coach can undo almost 2 decades, 17 years of culture in 2 years. Where now they're saying that people are late to meetings. People are complaining, they're tapping out, they're late to practice. What is happening? And it's almost seemed like Kalen DeBoer has regressed as a coach. Because when he was at Washington with a worse, even when they went to the national championship, a worse roster, worse talent, he was not losing to Vanderbilt. He was not losing to a 6-6 Oklahoma team. He was not losing to a 5-7 Florida State. He was not losing to 8-5 Michigan. So in the let me know. Like, how do you guys feel? Okay. This year, 2026, you're going to have what we think Keelan Russell as the quarterback. For Kalen DeBoer, I made a coach on the hot seat. Kalen DeBoer is on the latter half of the hot seat. What is the record and what losses will it take this year, or rivalry wins will it take to help get him off the hot seat and into prosper and greatness? And what will it take to put him get out of town? If he goes 9-3, loses to Auburn, misses the playoff, is he out? If he goes 10-2, goes to the playoff, what if he wins another playoff game and then gets blown out again? Is he out? If he goes undefeated but gets blown out, what about that? What if he goes 6-6 this year? What if he goes 6-6 but beats Georgia and beats Auburn? What about that? You're going to run him out of town again? So I don't know. Let me know. But yeah, the fact that Bama has 4 5-stars, 15 4-stars, and still, this is for next. Let me go back to 25. So Bama had the 4th overall class, 3 5-stars, 24 stars. and 24, because the players in the 24 class are the ones that are finally starting to start. The second overall class, 6 5-stars, 24 4-stars. Those are all players that should be starting now. So what's happening? If you look at Bama's schedule, let me bring up Bama's schedule. Okay, week 1, East Carolina win. At Kentucky, win. Florida State at home. I'll give you a win. I'll give you the win. I think Florida State's going to be a lot worse this year. South Carolina at home. That's a team that you guys keep messing with every year, and South Carolina should have beaten Alabama 2 years in a row. Because remember, they got that onside and got in field goal range, they would have won. In 24? Last year, should have won that game. You guys should have lost that game to South Carolina on the road. So, South Carolina at home again with a veteran Lenore Sellers, Nick Harbor, and Dylan Stewart. I don't know if you can. Maybe I'll say that's a toss-up game. At Mississippi State, that's a win. Georgia, toss-up game. At Tennessee, toss-up game. Texas A&M, toss-up game. Bye week. At LSU, toss-up game. At Vanderbilt. Is that a toss-up game? No. Okay. I did my SEC quarterback rankings. I had Jared Curtis as the worst quarterback in the SEC. So I will say that not. But then Chattanooga, then Auburn at home is a toss-up game. That's 6. 6 out of 12 games are toss-up games. So if you go 500, you're 9-3. 9-3. I think this year is the year of 9-3. I think we're probably going to get maybe 2, maybe even 3 9-3 teams in the college football playoff. We'll see what they want to do with all the 10-2 and 11-1 Big 12 teams that don't play anybody. We'll see about that. But I think this year is the year of 9-3. So, I mean, is it only a successful season if you get back to the playoffs? Because, I mean, playing Florida State, South Carolina, Georgia, at Tennessee, A&M, at LSU, at Vanderbilt, and Auburn, that's a brutal schedule. That is a brutal, brutal, brutal schedule. So, I don't know. If you want to fire DeBoer, who do you get? Who do you get? I mean, I'm trying to, you could maybe Kenny Dillingham from Arizona State, maybe. I would maybe say Dan Lanning. Dan Lanning didn't even, Kirby didn't leave Georgia to go to Bama. Dan Lanning didn't leave Oregon to go to Bama. I'm trying to even, Day wouldn't leave. I'm trying to think Patricia wouldn't leave. I'm Sark. Maybe Sark would leave Texas, but he didn't leave Texas before. Cristobal's not leaving. And so the only option, I think, is Dabo. If you fire Kalen DeBoer, you get Dabo. Do you want Dabo? Do you want Dabo? I don't know. Bama fans, let me know in the comments. Would you like Dabo? But yeah, that was kind of just a rant video. I just kind of want to. I want to talk about more of some of these other teams, and definitely during the summer, I'll have a lot more time to make more videos where I'll talk about more teams. But again, that's all I have for you guys for now. I will see you guys all later, and as always, thank you.